Hi, my loves. How are we doing? So today I want to talk about kind of a little bit of a serious topic, but this is going to be a little bit informative of how to know as a tarot reader that I am reading a true narcissist. Now, before I proceed forward, this video will be a trigger warning. I will talk about narcissism. If that is a topic that truly triggers you, please scroll on, but I'm going to make a point within this in this video. The reason I want to get this out is any of you guys that are learning tarot, or you do read tarot of some form, this is kind of a way to detect in a reading, especially if you're reading, let's just say, even for a stranger, or even if it's like somebody that's kind of close to you. If you're reading about somebody else and you cannot determine, oh gosh, I think that that person's with a narcissist, I'm about to give you some pointers. Now, I understand in this day and age the word narcissist or narcissism gets overused a lot. Now, as a tarot reader, as bad as it sounds, I could read out a fuckboy perfectly. I could read out because it's mainly women that come to me specifically about men in this case. I could read a fuckboy. If somebody's cheating on you, I could pick that up. If they're kind of manipulating a certain situation, I could pick that up. Don't get me wrong. Cheating, yes, is a form of a narcissistic behavior. Don't get me wrong. Let's be real. If you are manipulating somebody mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and think that you could get away with it, correct. That is a narcissistic tendency. However, the biggest one as a tarot reader is, again, I could read a fuckboy thoroughly. I know their next motives. I know this and that. But a narcissist, let's be real, that is somebody who is abusive, mentally, in some cases physically, and a true narcissist is another level of, it's kind of hard to read. Now, us as tarot readers, let's be real, what do tarot cards do for us? Us as tarot readers, we don't read tarot cards. Tarot cards, the cards are oracles, it doesn't matter, are there for us to confirm what we're already feeling, what we're already kind of thinking, correct? So if a client comes up to me, and I see this, unfortunately a few times within my clients, and they're talking about their specific person, immediately I could pick up the energy like that of what kind of person they are, what kind of person is my client. I go through that whole spiel. With a narcissist, I cannot figure it out. It's like brain fog. I can't think properly. So in a funny way, if any of you tarot babies out there are questioning if somebody's a narcissist, it's almost like in a funny way, in the moment, you don't know what the F you're doing. You can't see something thoroughly. You can't read the room quite weird, but something at the same time feels off, but you can't figure out where it's coming from. And let's be real, what is a true narcissist? They're abusive behind closed doors, but in the public eye, because it's all about image to them, they're sweet. They probably play husband, wife of the year. They look around like a dream come true, correct? So that is kind of the energy you're going to get. They're going to, a funny way, try to manipulate your energy. So for example, let's just say you're doing this for a complete stranger, like a client of some form, and they come to you, they talk to you about a specific person. They want to know, the typical stuff. Are we going to work out? Are we going to be in contact? Blah, 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 blah. So when you pick up on that person, again, it's like a brain fog in a funny way. You can't read them, but something's not right. Your cards truly will not align with what you're feeling. So I've seen this quite a few times. Me personally, everybody may have different experiences. Because of me not feeling right, I want those cards to come out and say, like, the Tower, the Three of Swords, the Magician, reverse, like ugly cards. No, I'm getting like little princessy cards, like the King of Cups, the Lovers, and, Ten of Pentacles. And I'm like, no. So here's what happens if that does happen. For one, use discernment. Make sure it's not your energy. You're not all sporadic. Literally, do not try to read that spread, especially if you're like, nah, they're not operating like a Ten of Cups. This doesn't feel right. Scratch the spread, start over, take 3 slow, deep breaths. Close your eyes when you do it, and literally, imagine that brain fog you're having. It's all of a sudden gone, like, get out. Watch, then all of a sudden you redo your spread, and those cards all of a sudden will start aligning with what you're feeling. Now, as a tarot reader, it's not too often I see that happen, but unfortunately, if it gets to the point that I have to redo a whole spread and take those 3 deep breaths, and what I'll do is I'll take my middle finger, okay? This is another tip for any of you guys that need a clear out brain, and it works for me as a reader. Take simply your middle finger and just kind of rub it like this with your thumb. while you're taking those 3 deep breaths. And again, imagine that brain fog. Think of it literally like fog in your head is all of a sudden getting clear, and you're seeing a clear image right there. That's how you're going to detect that person that maybe you're reading for. Like, hey, babes, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but are you dealing with verbal abuse? Are you dealing with the physical abuse? Are you dealing with extreme manipulation? Whatever the case is. And then the client's probably going to open up a little bit, or whoever you're reading for, and say, yeah, this has been going on. Yes, this has been going on. And obviously, as the reading goes, everything is starting to add up. But to know if you're truly reading about a narcissist in a funny way, it's like they will mess with your energy, and the cards at first will not align with what you're feeling, but you can't detect what you're feeling. And I'm bringing that into awareness because, again, everybody uses the word narcissist. As bad as it sounds, I hate to say this to a lot of people, not every ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend you have is a narcissist. You know, some are assholes, and that's simple as that, but it doesn't make them a narcissist. And the reason I want to point out, especially if you're not feeling right and you're getting those lovey-dovey cards and all that, you know, the whole point is not to tell yourself, again, even if you're reading this on yourself or other people, that, oh, no, you should stay with them, everything's fine. No, if you, again, use discernment as a reader. If you feel like something's not right, trust it, okay? I hope this little tip helped my babies. I'll talk to you later. I'll upload a reading soon.